A while back, I was tagged in a community AOK challenge by Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack. He sent me an awesome package, and I wanted to, film it as an unboxing so that everyone could see my reaction to the books that he sent me, and so I did. And when I went to edit the footage here on my computer, there was no sound. Zero audio. I had muted or hadn't plugged in all the way my microphone, and I had, a good 30 minutes of footage with no sound. It's completely unusable. So I was kind of devastated because I had done this and I wasn't going to be able to show it the way that I wanted. And then when I reached out to Mr. Akins, this community is amazing. We say it all the time, but he said, hey, don't worry about it. Send it to me. We'll figure out a way to dub over this and we'll save the footage. And it wasn't just him. Other YouTubers also stepped up and their footage is coming in and I just can't wait. I'm going to take a look at it now and I'm going to see if this video can be saved. So Mr. Akins here, take a look at his footage.
Welcome to Haul Ya Comics. My name is Nate and I have comic issues. Today's issues are not actually comic issues, but an issue I have with a fellow comic book creator by the name of Mr. Akins at What's on the Comic Rack. However, the kicker was the presence of so many John Byrne comics. My issues with John Byrne are numerous. His outdated art style, his lack of creative storytelling, his continuous repetition of plot elements, and his character's lack of depth and complexity. I could go on and on at this point.
Mr. Akins seems to be working through a lot of issues he has with himself and his love of John Byrne. I've got another video here from David the Garage Geek. Let's see what he said.
Have you ever felt really constipated?
Oh no.
But how can we enjoy our comics if we are backed up? I want Haul Ya Comics to be your laxative.
Good Lord.
Taking a really good, satisfying poop has eluded the mystics for ages. They've recommended laxatives, suppositories, ointments.
I mean, is the entire thing about poop? The entire thing can't be about poop.
Here at Haul Ya Comics, we want you to watch and feel that burden just slide right away.
The entire thing's about poop. Okay, maybe Ricky from All Sorts of Words took the assignment a little more seriously? He said with a question mark.
Good evening, America. I'm Chip Clip Swayze, and welcome back to Real Talk with Chip Clip Swayze.
Oh no.
Patriots, tonight on Real Talk, we have an interview with a reclusive comic book YouTuber. Sex, intrigue, and cannibalism surround this man, so tonight, viewer discretion is advised.
Oh no.
Mr. Haul Ya, we're going to dive right into the interview. Recently, actor-comedian Bo Burnham has announced he's going to be directing a new Lord of the Rings franchise for Amazon Prime. Do you think he's going to bring his patented liberal agenda and DEI to Tolkien's seminal work? And would you agree with such a decision?
Would Bo gay Hobbit? I'm saying I'd have to.
Shocking.
I can't use this. Well, wait. Maybe if I edited all three together, I could come up with something that would work.
To put it simply, the inclusion of the John Byrne comics was an insult.
In order to start us off, look at this really ugly, plain-looking box. Okay, let's get back to why you're really here. To watch me go on and on about some rando comic I paid 10 cents for and no one else wants. You know, that 90s golden age.
I can't even believe I'm asking this question, but the American people deserve to know. What's the hardest part of being a cannibal?
When you don't come.
Oh, this interview is over.
Why?
This interview's over.
That doesn't work at all. Oh, man. Oh, okay. I guess I have no choice. I'll just have to reshoot everything.
You've got mail.
That was my AOL Messenger letting me know that I've got another video from Ricky. This is probably the real video. The other one was just a joke.
Penis.
Oh, come on. Welcome to Haul Ya Comics. My name is Nate, and I have issues. And today's issue is second chances. I was not kidding in the intro to today's video that I've already shot this once, and I did it with 0 sound. It's completely ruined. It's unusable. But it's even worse than that. This was not the only video I filmed that day. I had filmed 3 videos back to back trying to get ahead of, whatever it is I'm trying to do here. And I ended up setting myself like at least a week behind. It was very nice of my friends to offer to, kind of help me with the intro and make light of it, but it really was kind of a devastating thing. So Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack was kind enough to tag me in this challenge. This was started by Pocket Full of Comics. The books that Mr. Akins picked out for me are amazing. So this whole thing started with the channel Pocket Full of Comics. He sent a package to Brandon at M.O.N Comics, who sent a package to Digger Jim, who sent a package to Lettuce Comics, who sent a package to Broke Boy Comics, who sent a package to Josh's Comics, who then went to Lowe's Comic Journey, who then sent a package to Mr. Akins at What's on the Comic Rack, and then at the end of his video, he chose me as the next person in line. At the end of this video, I will choose somebody to continue this chain, and I already have some books put together for this person, and we'll be getting their package out here in just a few days. Before we get going and look at the books, I have to say thank you to Mr. Akins, not just for the package, but for being a good sport and helping me with the intro and the dubbing. Thank you to Ricky at All Sorts of Words and to David at Garage Geek. The videos that they sent are just hysterical, and I did not use them in their entirety, but at the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and tag them on so that you can see what they did with the same footage. I sent everybody the same footage, and everything that came back was so different and funny, and it really turned a tragedy into a comedy for me, so thank you so much. Let's get into the books that Mr. Akins sent me. I'm still going to try to do this as blind as I can, and I'm not thinking about it too hard. Even though I've seen these books, it's been about a week and a half since I've opened this package, and I'm going to go through the books. I'm going to go through the package itself because he put together such a nice presentation. So this is not a small box. There were a lot of items in here, not just comics, and we'll get to that in a moment. So let me open this up and we'll bring a few things out. All right, first up, he started with a very nice letter that he wrote in his impeccably tight handwriting. His penmanship is admirable and makes me feel terrible about my own. I'm not going to read the whole letter here. It was very nice. What he wrote me was very nice, and I have a section on my wall where, behind my computer where I work, where I've put the notes and the letters and the stickers that I get from different people in the community, and I'm just going to add this to it because it's just really nice, and I appreciate it. Alright, so first off, I got a sticker for Mr. Akins for his channel, What's on the Comic Rack. I think that is pretty cool. And if you watch a lot of the people who are kind of in my community circle, you know that a lot of them met up at Terrificon. And so he sent me a Terrificon pin, so I thought it was cool. He also wrote me in a little note on an index card that everyone's planning to meet up again next year at HeroesCon. So I've got that on my radar. It's something that I'm hoping to do if I can. So the first item I want to talk about that he sent me, I guess this is a Digger Jim idea, and I will integrate this into my package that I send off to the next person. So on this card here it says, when Digger Jim sent Lettuce Comics his AOK, he sent something else he collects, wheat pennies that he digs up. Since I'm into role-playing games, I collect dice. I have so many dice that I can share. May the dice always roll in your favor, and if they don't, then put them in dice jail. Enjoy. So in this baggie here, he gave me an entire set of polyhedral dice. I too am a Dungeons & Dragons fan and player. I play a lot of board games. I love games of all types. I love Dungeons & Dragons. I love card games and board games. I kind of have a ridiculous collection of those as well. So he sent me an entire set of, polyhedral dice, all 12-sided, 20-sided, 4-sided dice. I think this was super nice of him. And this is a set that I think I'm just going to, keep aside or keep as a set and know that these are dice that Mr. Akins gave to me. So thank you for the dice, Mr. Akins. All right, so the whole purpose of the AOK is really that you're going to put together some comic books you think that person will enjoy. And like I said, I've already seen these books, but I'm kind of looking at them face down and I'm going to still try to surprise myself. So we'll see what I remember here. All right, so first up, Protectors number 5. Okay, I know what this one is. I love 90s gimmick covers, foils, die cut, gatefolds, double gatefolds, but this one I think takes the cake. So this issue is known for having a hole through the entire book. I think I have to open this up so I can show you what I mean. Oh, this one is still in a poly bag. All right. But you can see that there is a hole. Can you see my eye? Can you see me? I see you. If you can tell, there is a hole in the center of this, and it even says on there, take a look and peek, the first ever force beam hole comic. This issue is not to be missed. I have no idea who the protectors are. They're from Malibu Comics, and I don't know anything about Malibu Comics except that the other day I did learn that the Ferret is from Malibu Comics, and since he is the greatest new meme hero I've ever heard of, I'm excited to read this book. Do you think the Ferret is on the team? Because that would be incredible. Mr. Aiken shares about Protectors number 5. I think this is the ultimate gimmick of the 90s. I so hope you don't have a copy of this because everyone's collection needs the first ever Force Beam Hole comic. I do not have this book in my collection. I had never heard of this until you sent it to me, and believe me, I am beyond excited to have this. Thank you. The next book is Barkham Asylum, and here's what I love about Barkham Asylum. This was a free comic book day book that I wanted to pick up, but it was an opportunity cost I had to give up. I chose other books on Free Comic Book Day this year, and I did not choose this one. So the fact that he sent it to me means I got another Free Comic Book Day free comic book. How cool is that? This is Barkham Asylum, the first appearance of the Joker's dog, whose name is Jester, and it has other animal sidekicks of the villains as well. So this is one I did not have, and I'm really excited to read. So thank you for helping fill out my Free Comic Book Day haul this year, Mr. Akins. This is still like opening it all over again because I haven't looked at these books since I recorded. Like, I was devastated when it all didn't work out. So here we go. This one is Elvis Must Die number 1. This, I love weird. And this is weird. Check the cover out, all right? Check the cover out for Elvis Must Die. This is by Neil R. King. And Mr. Akins tells me an Elvis impersonator who is also a secret agent and assassin is ordered by the king of rock and roll to recover secret microfilm, yes, microfilm, from an inmate at a maximum security prison. This just looks so independently 80s or 90s. You know, the company that made it is called Boldface Comics. I don't know anything about it. Jailhouse rocked. This seems absolutely hysterical. And it's not for a mature audience, it's for a maturing audience. So I'm actually not sure if I'm allowed to read it, because I am definitely more of an immaturing audience. The next book is Elf Trek number 2. So now I have the complete set. Earlier, I had shown that I found Elf Trek 1, which was a parody of ElfQuest and Star Trek mixed together. Such an odd amalgamation. And it was a 2-part series. I only had the first part, so this is the second part. I'm really excited to have this. Look, you've got an elf saying Dad to Spock, while I'm assuming we've got kind of a Scotty and Kirk characters in the background. I still haven't read issue number 1. Now that I've got issue number 2, I'm definitely going to give this a read. This is from Dimension Graphics, and I don't know much about it. So Mr. Akins writes, so happy I can complete your set of Elf Trek. Believe me, brother, I am also very happy. Thank you so much. There's still like 4 or 5 books in the box, so I'll try to go a little quicker. We've got Namor, Namor the Submariner, issue number 2. I know why he sent me this one. I did not know this at first. First, I just want you to drink in this cover. The exquisiteness of the villain on the front, who looks so odd to me. So I am not a Namor collector or reader. My friend Jacob from Bone Claws Comics certainly is, but this is Namor fighting a griffin. And when I look at the griffin looks so weird. The face doesn't really match the hair. He's wearing some kind of headband. The skin, the texture of the skin just seems off to me. Why is it scaly? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Mr. Aiken sent me this because this is a John Byrne cover. And if you know one thing about him, it's that he loves John Byrne. So this... Mr. Aiken's note on Namor is, I can't send out an AOK without including a John Byrne comic, just to make someone say his name. John Byrne. In addition, Namor is Hagen's favorite superhero, and he will be so jealous that you have this comic. Well, Maybe one day it'll find its way into his hands, but for right now, this Namor, this John Byrne, it's mine. Thank you. There's still a few in here, so here we go. All right, up next is... Yeah. Okay, Youngblood number 4. This one is hysterical. This is a book I might have. Sadly, I might have more than one copy of it, and his note on the back makes it make sense. Mr. Aiken's note reads, "This is the running joke comic between me and Bigby McFly, the comic guy. Bigby says that back in the day, this was not only a key, but a wall book. Look how far the mighty have fallen." So, yeah, I mean, I remember when this was a hot book. I don't remember it necessarily being a wall book, but, you know, perspective and time, all of those things kind of align to determine what has staying power and what doesn't. So just remember that when you're chasing that hot book of the minute and you've got the really bad FOMO and you want to pick something up, you got to ask yourself, is this one going to be ASM 300 or is this one going to be Youngblood number 4? Actually, there's a lot of wiggle room between those two, so maybe don't use those as the bookends. I don't know. Up next is... I love this cover. This is a book I definitely already have, but I am not upset to have another one. Justice League Europe issue number 22, Buy This Comic or We Shoot the Cat. This is a parody of a National Lampoon magazine cover where they had a gun to a dog's head. It's a very dark joke. It's been homaged more than a few times on other books and comics that I've seen. And, you know, I think he included this one because he knows how much I love the Justice League of this era. He says, "This cover is a parody of National Lampoon number 34 from January 1973. Boy, your detail is way better than mine, Mr. Akins. If you are not familiar with the cover, look it up. Hilarious if you like dark humor. It is hilarious. I do like dark humor, and I'll show it right here. And maybe even a few of the homages if I can find them. But yeah, Power Girl's cat in Justice League Europe, get a good look at it. He's such a, he's a feral stray, missing an eye. He's always tearing everybody up, and he only really is calm for her. Power Girl loves this cat, but he is just like the grossest Bill the Cat, demon cat you've ever seen. There's a lot of good stories from this era where he plays a part, and yeah, so thank you so much for sending me this one. Okay, the next two I think might kind of go to... Actually, the next two I think were supposed to be the first two. There's a card that I took off here, and it says, these first two comics don't have notes on the back, but they were odd, so I thought you might enjoy them. So, I mean, of course I'm going to enjoy them if they're odd. Books like, oh yeah. So this is Critters number 9 from Fantagraphics book. I'm going to let you... just kind of drink this in for a minute, and I'm going to zoom in and show a little bit more detail. This cover is insanely creepy. So we've got a cat who's afraid, and in the background, hanging from the ceiling is a noose. Also are these like some sort of tongue creatures. One has a bomb, one has a chainsaw, and then in the wall, and I don't know if this will come out or not, but the wallpaper itself is like all creepy faces. This cover is very, there's a lot of terror and anxiety here. I don't know what Critters is. I've never heard of it. Fantagraphics does some weird stuff, and apparently this looks like an older book, so apparently they've always done some weird stuff. I think that's really cool. I'm excited to have this because I love when I find something that seems weird and interesting, and I've never heard anybody talk about it before. So this one's exciting for me because I just love finding new things. How crazy is it, you know, that in this hobby you're still finding books that have come out that you've literally never heard of. Critters is definitely one of them. Okay, and then the second one that doesn't have a note is Boof. Boof and the Bruise Crew. I do remember Boof. Boof is this strange caveman lump down here. This is a kind of cartoony book from Image, and this is number 1. I don't know if this is number 1 of his like ongoing or if this is just a special, especially since it says Boof and the Bruise Crew. But it was a cartoon style of book, and it is odd. It is odd, and it is of the time that it was created. I don't remember who did it. Tim Harkins is the name of that's signed on here. I'm thinking for the art. It's not anybody I know, but I do remember this character. I do not own any Boof, so that is a statement I can no longer say truthfully. So I have Boof and the Brews Crew #1. I'll check that out and see what I think as well. All right, we are now down to the last book that Mr. Akins sent me in this AOK. And it is... That's right. Okay, so this is Wombat Man, and this comic is made by my friend Maarten Bo, who you also may know as the Aussie comic book collector. How cool is this? This is his, it's written and drawn by him. I do believe this cover was done by someone else. I am so excited to have this. I love that there are people in this community who are also creators. I'll be 100% honest here. I've always had the intention to order something from Maarten, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So the fact that, Mr. Akins had this to send to me, I think is super cool. He does have a note on here, Wombat Man #1. I had an extra copy of this and was waiting for the right person to give it to. I know you enjoy his channel. I absolutely do. If you do not subscribe to Maarten, the Aussie comic book collector, please go and subscribe right now. So you can now enjoy his comic. Wombat Man is written and drawn by the Aussie comic book collector. So cool. I love that I have this. There are some other titles he has. I will try to put a link below to Martin's page, not just his channel, but like where you can order his books from. He has one called Fart Puppies, and that's the one I really want to track down. So if you want to support a YouTube community member who's also a creator, go and check out his books. He has a twin brother, and they're both comic book creators. How cool is that? So what can I say? I mean, this was absolutely awesome. Even with the mess up of the audio, I still had a great time unboxing this for a second time. So I guess the next thing is, who am I going to send this to? Like, who am I going to pass the challenge on to next? And the person I have chosen is David at Still Only 35 Cents. This, this challenge that started with Pocketful of Comics has really kind of chained through our community, and it's gone from coast to coast and to me in the Midwest coast. And now it's time to send it around the world. So I'm going to send this to Australia. I've got a stack of books and some other items together that I'm going to send to David. I don't know how long it's going to take for it to get to him or how long it's going to take for him to make his video next, but I'm excited to do that. I want to say thank you to Mr. Akins. Please, again, anyone who's in this chain, they're all going to be listed below. If there's anybody in there that you have never heard of or that you haven't checked out before, give them a chance, maybe give them a subscription. Mr. Akins, thank you so much. Thank you for being a good sport when I messed up the first version of this. Thank you for helping me make this version, I think, even better. And, before I go, I want to do 2 shameless plugs. The first of which is I am nominated for a Comic Book Community Award for the Best Unknown Channel. If you have not yet voted, I would love to get your vote. The link to that is below. And then my next shameless plug is that on October 30th, I will be hosting my first graphic novel book club, where we're going to be discussing the book My Favorite Thing is Monsters by Emil Ferris. That'll be on Wednesday, October 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern. I would love it if you could get a copy of the book and read it and join in that discussion, and I hope to see you there. So that is it. Thank you, Mr. Akins. Thank you, Pocketful of Comics, for starting this challenge in the first place. And thank you to everybody who's participated that it ended up at my front door. Thank you to you for watching. I appreciate you so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Hollywood Comics. My name is Nate, and I have comic issues. Today's issues are not actually comic issues, but an issue I have with a fellow comic book creator by the name of Mr. Akins at What's on the Comic Rack. These issues revolve around a wonderful AOK challenge started by a Pocketful of Comics, which eventually made its way around to me. I'm going to be honest with you at this point. This is not the first package Mr. Akins has sent me. The first package was completely unacceptable and met with overwhelming sense of disappointment. The comics included were far from what I expected. The selection felt haphazard at best. However, the kicker was the presence of so many John Byrne comics. My issues with John Byrne are numerous. His outdated art style, his lack of creative storytelling, his continuous repetition of plot elements, and his character's lack of depth and complexity. I could go on and on at this point. It was disheartening that the comics Mr. Akins included in the first package so missed the mark. I anticipated a thoughtful curation of comics that would introduce me to new, exciting narratives, and yet I was left with a collection of comics that I felt were outdated and uninspired. To put it simply, the inclusion of the John Byrne comics was an insult. I can only hope that this package will meet my expectations of quality over quantity.
Have you ever felt really constipated? I know this is a channel about pretentious comics and their owners, but how can we enjoy our comics if we are backed up? I want Haul Yeah Comics to be your laxative. Taking a really good, satisfying poop has eluded the mystics for ages. They've recommended laxatives, suppositories, ointments, creams, but these all seem so intrusive. Here at Haul Yeah Comics, we want you to watch and feel that burden just slide right away. Oh, I've just been told by my sponsors at No One Reads Comics Anymore, they just buy slabs, that we aren't allowed to discuss poop-related matters. Okay, let's get back to why you're really here. To watch me go on and on about some rando comic I paid 10 cents for and no one else wants. You know, that 90s golden age.
This is Nomad number 1. Jack Monroe the Nomad, former Bucky, and this series in the 1990s was one that actually really appealed to me and still does. I gave it a reread not too long ago. Yes, it's very 90s, it's very anti-hero.
Nobody
it's,
cares!
You know, grim, dark, the way that the 90s was always wanting to be gritty and
Nobody
extreme.
cares!
But it's pretty good.
In order to start us off, look at this really ugly, plain-looking box.
Good evening, America. I'm Chip Clip Swayze, and welcome back to Real Talk with Chip Clip Swayze. Patriots, tonight on Real Talk, we have an interview with a reclusive comic book YouTuber. Sex, intrigue, and cannibalism surround this man, so tonight, viewer discretion is advised. Mr. Haul Yeah, we're going to dive right into the interview. Recently, actor-comedian Bo Burnham has announced he's going to be directing a new Lord of the Rings franchise for Amazon Prime. Do you think he's going to bring his patented liberal agenda and DEI to Tolkien's seminal work? And would you agree with such a decision?
Would Bo gay Hobbit? I'm saying I'd have to.
Shocking. And is there a character you'd be willing to play?
I'm big, Hobbit.
Let's move on. Recent social media posts have called you out for actually killing and eating one of your own staffers with a cabal of cannibals. How do you respond to these accusations?
We tried, Sasha.
Wait, are you admitting to having actually murdered and devoured one of your own employees? Are there other people you've eaten?
My fruit farmer.
My God, this is so shocking. Have you even tried to stop yourself? Is there anything you can do to calm these urges?
Suppress.
I can't even believe I'm asking this question, but the American people deserve to know. What's the hardest part of being a cannibal?
When you don't come.
Oh, this interview is over.
Why?
This interview's over. Shocking indeed. For the full interview, head over to X-Hamster and search for Stepsister Stuck in Bannister. I'm Chip Clip Swayze, and that's how the cookie crumbles.